Good morning to all the participants. So we'll be starting with the second session of day 3 of STTP sponsored by AICT. So I welcome Satyanarayan R. Achar sir from VI Solutions. And before I give the call to him to talk over it, so I would like to introduce about him. So he graduated as Electronics and Communication Engineer from VTU in the year 2016, and currently he is designated as Application Engineer in VI Solutions Bangalore. And his key interest areas are measurement and automation, sensors, data acquisition and signal conditioning, and FPGA-based embedded system design. We welcome you, sir.
Yeah, very
Thank you,
thank you.
sir, for your valuable time that you have taken for us. So over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope my voice is loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, very good morning to one and all. So, and let me introduce myself. So, myself Satyanarayan R. So, I'm working as a senior application engineer in VI Solutions. So, today I'm the one who is going to handle the NI MIDAC with respect to the topic whatever have been mentioned. So, I hope my voice is loud and clear. And can you just acknowledge me that can you able to view my screen? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can see my screen as well as my voice is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Right, fine. So we'll just try to continue the same. Okay, so that today with respect to the topics whatever that have been mentioned. Okay, so today I'm here going to be explained about what exactly the NI MIDAC. So what the things have to be done using this. So and how these things will be useful for your academic sessions. Okay, so since we are working for the industry, so as well as will be whenever we get the chance we'll be working for the academic means we'll be handling the sessions to an academic things. So since we are the industry people, okay, so we'll be knowing like what exactly has been taken out in an industries and everything. So what here we are doing in an academics thing is, so we are going to teach the students or it may be a faculties. Okay, so to just gain the knowledge about the industries, what exactly the industries are doing. Okay, so with respect to either it may be to a software or it may be to a hardware. So we'll be just knowing how the things will be going on in an industrial part. Okay, so for that today, from today we are going to start with respect to a hardware. Okay, so we'll just try to know the contents like what all the things we'll be just doing today. Okay, so first thing is we'll be just going into an introduction. Okay, so introduction to the NI MIDAC, and we'll be knowing what all the things we'll be doing in an NI MIDAC. Okay, with respect to the digital signal processing, right? So next, we'll be knowing each pins with respect to the NI MIDAC. So whatever the hardware we are going to be used, and we'll be just trying to communicate with respect to hardware as well as the software whatever we are using called the LabVIEW. Okay, so these are the things where here we are going to deal with. Okay, so first before starting into this, let me know what all the things it's been necessary. Like we'll just go with respect to an introduction. Okay, so the introduction part will be like what exactly this hardware. So why we have to deal with the hardware? Why we call that as a hardware? Okay, so for this, this is my question. So may I know, like, anyone are willing to answer? May I get any response for this question? So what exactly is a hardware? So why we have to use a hardware? The term, what is the term called a hardware? So if anyone, a volunteer, can able to give the answers. Okay, fine. So let me give you the thing. Okay. So actually speaking, what exactly that hardware? Okay, hardware seems to be referred to an interconnected electronic component, so which performs analog or logical operation on received the locally stored information to produce as an output. Like locally stored information is nothing but either it may be a sensor or a transducer. Okay. So why? Because while you're able to connect with the hardware, okay, so hardware is the one where it's going to be interconnected to your computer. Okay, either it may be connected to the USB cable, right? So it is locally stored information is nothing but it's nothing a sensor. Okay, where you'll be able to get the output, which resultsly storing into a new information. Okay, so that new information will be able to handle in your system with respect to an application software, like what we use. Okay, that is what a hardware. Okay, so if you come for the next step, okay, so in this slide where maybe you can just see, okay, so how this hardware and sensor will be interconnected to your laptop or to the PC. Okay, so before going to that, we'll be just knowing what exactly this data acquisition. Okay, so since we all know that we are dealing today with respect to NI MIDAC. Okay, so this NI MIDAC is actually speaking, it's an data acquisition hardware. Okay, so what exactly that data acquisition? Okay, so here they have been just stated that, okay, the purpose of a data acquisition is to measure the physical phenomenon such as a light, temperature, pressure, or a sound. Okay, so you know that what exactly that sensor does. Okay, it's that it converts the physical phenomenon to an the electrical part. Okay, so what exactly that physical phenomenon? Okay, so let me take an example of a light or a temperature. Okay, so if you take example of this. Okay, let me go for the temperature. I hope everyone have been known about this sensor called LM35. Okay, so actually speaking, this LM35 is the temperature sensor basically where the students will be handled with respect to project. Okay, so in the same thing, if you want to go with respect to the industrial part. Okay, so if you just go for industrial part. Okay, so in industrial part, if you want to use any sort of a sensors, saying that I hope everyone heard about thermistor or a thermocouple. Okay, so these sort of a sensor where it will be used in an industries to measure the the temperature. Okay, so same similarly, if you go for a light. Okay, so let me take example for with respect to students. Okay, so let me go with LDR. Okay, light dependent resistor. So where you can able to measure the lights. Okay, intensity of the light. Okay, so same similarly, like everyone have been knowing with respect to ambient light sensor, correct? So using that ambient light sensor where you people will be measured, whether the darkness of a light is too high or too low. Okay, so I hope everyone have been using the smartphone thing. So these smartphones, okay, where you'll be giving the auto brightness, correct? So as soon as you just try to go for the outside, okay, like the outside area. So when you just try to open your mobile, okay, so it usually increases the brightness automatically, correct? So when you just come for indoor, like where get into your home or office or somewhere else, so automatically your light brightness will get decreased, correct? So using what sort of a sensor it will be used? Okay, so that is nothing but ambient light sensor, where we call that as a ALS sensor, correct? So these sort of a sensors, okay, so we'll be just talking about the sensors. Okay, so we are having many sort of a sensors, correct? So we'll be not knowing how exactly to configure for a respective hardware, correct? So when you are trying to expect the result or the output, okay, so directly, okay, so directly we cannot able to communicate with respect to your PC, correct? So let me take example of a temperature. Okay, so if you go for temperature, so directly we cannot able to measure by just keeping the LM35, correct? So why? Because it's a physical phenomenon where you want to give some sort of inputs and outputs, where you want to connect 5 plus 5 volt and VCC ground. Okay, so later part you can able to extract the output from the signal. Either it might be analog sensor or it might be a digital sensor. Okay, so based on the signal type, we are going to actually deal. Okay, so here I hope here you can just see the picture of this. Okay, so here we are using a sensor, my DAC device, and a computer. Okay, so how these things can be interconnected, how this can be connected. Okay, so actually speaking, these things will be connected in a series. Okay, so where our laptop. Okay, so first thing is, in our laptop or in our PC, whatever we are going to be used. Okay, so usually you should be able to install the two different set of software. Okay, so one is application software and one is a driver software. Okay, so as we all know, Labio actually it's an application software where you will be able to work with respect to a graphical platform. Okay, so that Labio stands for the Laboratory Virtual Instrumentation Engineering Workbench. Correct. So it actually depends on the versions whatever you use. Okay, as of now I'm working with respect to Labio 2018. Okay, so some of you might be working with Labio 2019 or 2020. Okay, so based on the versions, okay, so according to the version you have to install the driver software. Okay, so the driver software is nothing but actually it's an DAC device, or it might be any other the modules. Okay, that whatever the hardware that you are going to be used. Okay, so based on that you have to be installed with respect to driver software. Based on the version of application software what you install, according to that you have to be installed with respect to driver software. Okay, so this DAC driver. So what these things will be doing is, actually speaking, this DAC device will be actually able to work, can be able to handle with respect to signal conditioning. Okay, so as well as it will be having A to D converter or D to A converter, like analog to digital or digital to analog. Okay, so these sort of the conversions will be taken place inside a DAC hardware. Okay, so that whatever the signal you are getting from your sensor, correct? So from the sensor, it will be either if it is an analog sensor, where if you want to read a digitally format, so where it used to be analog to digital converter inbuilt. Okay, so here we'll be not going to give any sort of a settings. Okay, so automatically it reads the analog device, then convert it into digital, or if at all you are connected any sort of a digital sensor to a digital lines. So based on the lines what you connect, so accordingly A to D converter or D to A converter will be worked. Okay, so this DAC device will be connected to a computer via the USB cable, so what we call as a bus. Okay, so this USB cable is nothing but like an two-way communication. Okay, so where you can able to send the information from the DAC to computer, as well as your computer can able to send the information to your DAC device. So that's where you can just see here you are given two-headed arrow, like from DAC device to computer and from computer to DAC device. So this is how it starts communicating. Okay, so for that, the external sensor, like what I told, either it may be LDR or the thermocouple, thermistor. Okay, so based on what are the sensor will be connected, so will be connected to a DAC device. So here your DAC device will be acting as an module, okay, the main module. So where it going to be communicated with respect to your sensor as well as with respect to your computer. Okay, so this is what the hardware what we are going to be learned. So next, if you come for the signals, okay, so how exactly these things might work. Okay, I was just telling depends upon the sensor, like what sort of a sensor we'll be using. Either it may, we are having only two types of a sensor. Okay, so one is analog and one will be the digital. Okay, so based on the sensors what we use. Okay, let me take example the same LM35, the temperature sensor. So this temperature sensor, actually speaking, it's an analog sensor. Okay, so where we are going to be connected to an analog voltage. Okay, means the analog channels. Okay, so how these analog channels works, or how this digital channels works. Okay, so all these both channels usually works with respect to principle of the signals. Okay, so basically we'll be not we'll be knowing what exactly the signals, why we have to use signals. Okay, so that is what it is used, which helps with the help of a transducer. Okay, so which converts a physical phenomenon into a signal. Okay, that's what the transducer is, that, but either it may be a sensor. Okay, so this sensor which converts a physical phenomenon into a signal. So once it is converted, so that signal will be measured accordingly with respect to A to D or D to A converter. Okay, so I hope here you can able to see having example with respect to signal, how analog signal and digital signal looks. Okay, so and the voltage range of the signals. Okay, so let me get into our first analog signal. So what exactly this analog signal does? Okay, so analog signal will be exist at any value with respect to time. So this it's a basic definition and everyone will be knowing, I hope. Okay, so it's exists with respect to value with respect to time. Okay, it's always deals with the time, as we all know. And the few examples for analog signals is voltage, pressure, temperature, sound, and load. Okay, so load is nothing but like where we are going to measure the actual weight. Okay, so these things are these terms, it's actually very standard where we'll be using in our industry part. Okay, the measurement of a voltage or measurement of a temperature or measurement of a pressure. Okay, so or a sound or a load. Okay, these are the standard words where we'll be using with respect to an industrial part. Okay, so anyhow, we'll be knowing, the three primary characteristics of the signal will be level, shape, and frequency. Correct. So if you go, with respect to these primary characteristics, what exactly this? Okay, so everyone knows that, if it is an, any one sort of a signal, okay, that signal will be able to carry some sort of information. Okay, so what all the information based on this level, shape, as well as the frequency. Okay, so as we all know, the level is nothing but the maximum and minimum voltage what we provide for the signal, input signal. Okay, and the shape also nothing but like either it may be a sine wave, square wave, or triangle, or a ramp, or sawtooth. Okay, like a different sort of things. Correct. So the different sort of things will be coming with respect to the signal. So based on this level, signal type, and the frequency, whatever we have been given, so it will be traveled for a longer distance, or the information might be heavy, or it might be light. So based on this, the analog signal works. Correct. Next, if you go for a digital signal, I hope everyone knows that it is having only two states. Correct. So either it may be a high or a low. Okay, or a 0 or 1. Okay. So usually we'll be dealing the digital signal with respect to clock pulses. Correct. So clock pulses, or if at all you wants to measure the particular voltage is high or low. Correct. So it in this moment we'll be using with respect to digital signals with respect to states, like on state or off state. Okay, so I hope everyone knows about TTL logic. Correct. So based on the clock pulses what we are giving, so we'll be measuring at what clock pulse it is going to be high. Okay, and what clock pulse where will you be going to be low. Okay, so usually signals, actually speaking, the signals is a very much important medium. So where will we are going to be handled. Okay, so that is what I was saying, repeatedly saying. So based on the sensors what we are going to select, either it may be analog or it may be a digital. Okay, so based on that we can able to provide the necessary things for the signal and handle it. Okay, so next, basically next thing what here we are going to deal with, here in the picture, I hope you can just see you are having different number of DACs. Okay, so we are having actually a number of DACs thing. Okay, so as of now we are only dealing with the NI MIDAC. Okay, NI MIDAC is stands for My Data Acquisition Device. Okay, so similarly you will be having a number of hardwares with respect to the C series modules, or C series compact DAC, compact the things. Okay, so we are having these many number of DACs. Okay, so this is what we call that as a USB DAC. Okay, so I hope here I am just pointing it out. Okay, So this is what a USB DAC, where will be, it's a very compact thing. So where you can able to carry like, the cell phone in the pocket. Okay. So this is even via works with respect to only the USB cable. Okay. So even this having, a number of analog channels and a number of digital channels. Okay. So same similarly, you're having, a number of DAC, compact DAC. Okay. So we are having PC DAC. Okay, PXI DAC. So we are having, a number of hardwares with respect to our national instruments. Okay. So how these things will be working like an interconnection. Okay, so what we call, so interconnection, actually speaking, here in the pictorial representation, you can just see what all the things you can able to be connect. Okay, with respect to different sort of DACs. Okay, so first thing is where you'll be able to giving a signal. So signal is nothing but where you can able to be given like, the external sensors. Okay, so that sensor will be connected to the terminal block. Okay, so where this terminal block is nothing but the hardware. Okay, so that hardware will be via pass with respect to the cable. Okay, so that cable will be connected to the DAC device. Okay, so this DAC device will be connected to the PC. PC is nothing but either if at all you're working with PC, or if at all you're working with respect to the laptop. Okay, so based on this, so here the main medium to transfer your data from computer to hardware, or from hardware to computer, will be your cable, the USB cable. Okay. Okay. So maybe I hope everyone can see this. Okay. This is actually the National Instruments NI MyDAC. Okay. So as of today, we are going to deal with this hardware. Okay. So this hardware will be, it will be a very compact form. Okay. So even you can able to carry, in your pocket or in your bag, okay, laptop bag, which we carries. Okay. So it's a very compact device. Okay. So why this hardware, they have been trying to manufacture, what is the use of it? Okay. So actually speaking, this NI MyDAC is only meant for like, the student version. Okay, so why they released this for the student version is, okay, so if you are coming with respect to that analog inputs or the analog output channels with respect to channel wise. Okay, so if at all you are having a good exposure for this hardware in your the curriculum, like it might be in academic. Okay, so the same thing will be the configuration or everything, the channel wise or the voltage ranges might vary little, but that not to be worried. So but you will be knowing, the students will be knowing how you can able to work with the hardware. So what all the things we have. Okay, so if you're going to give some sort of the sensor, what response you might get. Okay, so these all things will be very easy for the students once they get into an industry. Okay, so there again they no need of any sort of a training to work on the hardware, industrial hardware. Okay, why? Because so they have already worked on in the academics, and they'll be knowing what the things have to be done using this hardware. So what is the capability and what is the capacity of this hardware? So everything will be known in the academic session itself. Right? So when they are going to get into an industrial exposure, okay, so there we don't need of giving the extra trainings that they want to learn from the basic or from the scratch. Okay, so what is the things of this hardware? Okay, so what all the configurations that you're having? So maybe you can just see here. Okay, so mainly this hardware. Okay, not only the hardwares. Okay, so whichever the hardwares you taken. Okay, usually you have to be given the external USB. Correct. So external USB, as well as it should be given an external power supply with an adapter. Correct. So why? Because since not all the hardware will works with respect to 220 or 230 volts. Okay, whatever we are getting from an socket. Okay, so usually it will be down converted into 12 volts or the 24 volts. Okay, so based on the capacity of the hardware, the voltage ranges whatever they have been given. Correct. So, but the specialty of this NI MyDAC hardware is this hardware does not wants the external power supply or the power adapter. Okay, meaning, so only with respect to USB controlled bus, bus, it will be automatically gets powered up. Okay, like as we all know that our laptop or our PC will be able to give up to the 5 volts with respect to a USB slot, whatever we're going to be used, correct? So we'll be inserting a pen drive and we'll be connecting the mouse hardwares, correct? So it will be generated up to an like giving output voltage capacity of up to 5 volt, correct? So this hardware will be working with respect to only the 5 volt, right? It does not require any sort of external power adapter. That is one, the speciality of this hardware. So meanwhile, so even this is having some sort of the analog input, analog output, DIOs. So even it is having one sort of a counter. Okay. So and one more thing is here you can just see it is having an integrated DMM. So I hope everyone knows a digital multimeter. It's nothing but a DMM. Okay. So it is having already integrated part. Okay. So why this hardware is designed in such a way that okay. So whenever the faculties or whenever the students wants to explore the things with respect to circuits or with respect to the things, okay. So where you here extra additional sort of the instruments or the hardware need not to be used. Okay, so everyone knows that why we are going to be used a multimeter. Okay, where you are going to measure the current, temperature, correct? So these sort of things will be the measure, correct? So since you are all measuring these things, okay, with respect to a circuit or with respect to any signal conditioning things, okay, so obviously you will be using the digital multimeter, correct, to measure the voltage or current, or either it may be a resistance or to check the diode. Okay, so without using thing, I hope here you can just see your the cables, two cables of red color and the black color has been connected with a probe. Okay, so this is a probe where exactly looks similar to the multimeter where we'll be connecting, correct? So positive, red color stands for positive and the black color stands for negative, correct? So we can able to measure the things, and here we cannot measure with respect to a very high voltage. So instead we are having some sort of a limited voltage that we can able to measure, or we can able to weigh. Okay, so along with this, even they have been given one more option for this with respect to audio in and audio out. Okay, so I hope yeah. So I think here it's not much visible. So maybe you can just see the things here, the two holes. Okay, so the audio in and audio out. So why they are given audio in and audio out is nothing but where you can able to connect with respect to audio signals and work with respect to this DAC. Okay, so and what is the use of it? Maybe you can ask her what is the use of dealing with the audio signal. Okay, so even the audio signal is nothing but where you can able to transmit a very high range of signals, like with respect to kilohertz or a megahertz. Okay, so but here this hardware is having the maximum the what we call the capacity will be, it can able to generate or it can able to acquire up to 200 kilo samples per second. Okay, here they have been mentioned like 200 kilo samples per channel. Okay, so where I can tell you in such a way that it can able to generate or it can able to acquire up to 200 kilo samples per second. So for 1 second, it is having ability that it can able to acquire or generate up to 200 kilo samples. Okay, so maybe if you want you can just ask me about, sir, if at all you're dealing with the audio signals, audio ranges. Okay, so since you will be using amplification and attenuation every part. Okay, so obviously the audio ranges will be given in megahertz, correct? So if at all you want to measure the megahertz, is that be possible using a MIDAC? Okay, so for that answer is no. Okay, why? Because since it is having, they are clearly given that okay you can go up to 200 kilo samples per second. Okay, so there is no use of giving the input, audio input into an megahertz. Okay, so obviously it throws a error. Okay, why? Because it cannot able to the capacity itself is having 200 kilo samples per second, where you cannot give up to a megahertz. If in terms, if at all you want to get into or measure into, acquire into an megahertz, Okay, so this is not a best hardware that I can able to suggest. Maybe you can just go for some other industrial hardwares that I said, like CDAC, the C series modules. So using these modules, you can able to work with the megahertz, okay, the higher frequency. But I hope for a students level, okay, for with respect to academic level, so I hope 200 kilo samples per second is more enough that they can able to work. Okay, so these are some of very few futures that they have been given. Okay, so I hope here you can just see with respect to analog input, where you can able to acquire the things. It is having a 2-channel analog input with respect to 200 kilo samples per channel, and its resolution is a 16-bit. Okay, so each and every hardware will be having a separate sort of a resolution. So where the resolution will be always very important with respect to signals while you are dealing. Correct. So either it might be analog or digital. Okay. So here it is having analog input with 2 channels with 16-bit resolution. The same if you come for analog output. Here also you are having 2 channels. Analog output with 200 kilo samples per second with 16-bit resolution. Okay, so this is 2 analog input channels and 2 analog output channels. So next, if you come for a DIOs, okay, DIOs is nothing but digital input output. So it is having 8 lines. Okay, so 8 lines is nothing but it's not like 8 input digital input and 8 digital output. So totally 16. No. Okay, so actually speaking, this DIOs is nothing but it's an integrated. Okay, so it integrated like input as well as output. It stands for 8 lines, including input as well as output. So where you can able to split, or each and every channel is having a capability of, it can either work as an input or it can either work as an output. Okay, so maybe I'll just show you how exactly this will be working. Okay, so this is the main thing. Okay, and it is having a one counter. Okay, everyone knows that a counter is nothing but a PWM, correct? Pulse width modulation. So this hardware can able to work with a single counter, one counter. And with respect to the DMM, I said that, and where you can able to measure the voltage, current, and ohm, the resistance. Okay, so and even it is having some sort of a power supply. Okay, so that power supply will be plus 5 volt and plus or minus 15 volt. Okay, like I hope everyone you will be knowing in your college will be having a function generator, correct? Or the power supply, regulated power supply or fixed power supply, where it will be able to generate some sort of a voltage, correct? From 0 to 20 volt, or it might be having like 0 to 50 volt or 0 to 100 volt. Okay, so based on the capacity of RPS or fixed power supply. Okay, so here also in this DAC, it is having the plus or minus 15 volt, where on plus 5 volt, where it can able to generate. So then you might be thinking that, sir, you're only giving a 5 volt of input for this hardware, and apart from that you're not going to give any other external power adapter. So then how can it be able to generate up to minus 15 to plus 15 volt? Okay, that might be a question. Okay, so if that is a question, okay, my answer is, so in this there will be the process of amplification and attenuation will be done inside this MIDAC. Okay, so using this, okay, it can able to generate, means the input will be 5. Okay, so for that it will be amplified and it will be given output as up to 15 volt. Okay, so this is having some sort of, why they are being given this minus 15 or plus 15 is instead of using any other external power supply, so instead it is better to go with the input thing. Okay, like how they have been introduced digital multimeter, integrated multimeter. So similarly they are given some sort of the voltage level. Okay, so next, if you want to go with respect to what all the things can be worked. Okay, so you can work with the digital multimeter, oscilloscope, function generator, Bode plot. Okay, so arbitrary waveform generator. So this sort of some sort of an instrument can able to be worked virtually. Okay, I hope everyone knows that LabVIEW is nothing but it's a graphical platform where you can able to work virtually. Okay, so same similarly, what exactly this function? I hope everyone knowing what exactly oscilloscope function generator, where you'll be using in your lab, correct? So why, what is the overcome of this using the hardware? I'll just tell you. Okay. So what is the overcome of using this hardware? Okay. So let me give an example that where the students will be working in the laboratory with respect to oscilloscope and function generator in the lab. Okay, either it may be a digital signal processing or it may be analog communication, anything. Okay, so there obviously they need the very few instruments and the components to work with any sort of a circuits, the design. Okay, so in that first thing will be our oscilloscope and function generator. Why? Because to generate a signal, obviously we need FGen, and to measure the signals, okay, in what terms or in what voltage, okay, we are getting, according to the output, we have to check on the oscilloscope. Okay, so to that next, again, they need a few more, the instruments called multimeter, as well as power supply, to just give the particular the output, sorry, the input, the particular voltage input to be given, so that they'll be using like almost more than 3 to 4 instruments, correct? So to overcome this, okay, the National Instrument have been introduced this hardware. Okay, so anyhow we'll be knowing, obviously with respect to academic level, we'll be not dealing the circuit more than the 10 volt or more than 15 volt. Okay, so I hope, even though if they are working with any sort of circuits with op-amp or microcontroller or anything, so hardly maybe they would have been given 5 volt or 10 volt or 12 or 50. Okay, so this is what the maximum they can use. Apart from that, even I agree they are having a different sort of a circuits where they'll be dealing with 20 volt or 24 volt, correct? So, but with respect to the nominal applications or with nominal experiments what they're having, usually they'll be dealing with respect to within 15 volt. Okay, so for that again they need to use external power supply. So instead, so this hardware can able to overcome. So instead of using 4 different instruments, so they have been integrated all these 4 instruments within this hardware. Okay, so only thing is here we are using the FGen as well as oscilloscope virtually, so not like a physically, virtually, but it looks exactly like the thing whatever we have been working in our lab with. Okay, so let me just get into that topic. Okay, so I'll just try to connect the hardware. So it's very simple to connect, just connecting with respect to a USB cable. Okay, so once your hardware has been connected, okay, so you'll be able to get one light. Okay, so I think it's been here. Yeah, so next to the USB cable, you're having one small LED saying that whenever it's been powered up, it will be showing in a blue color. Okay, saying that your hardware has been active now and it's been connected. Yeah, so I hope here you can just see. So as soon as you have been connected your hardware, okay, so you can just check the thing whether it's been connected or not. But for some systems or some the things, this pop-up might come or it may not come. Okay, so for that one more easiest way that where you can able to found is, okay, so having one more option called NI Max. Okay, so it is nothing but NI Max is nothing but it's a measurement and automation explorer. Okay, so it's not only meant for the MIDAC. Okay, so if you just try to open your NI Max, okay, this is how it will be opened. Okay, and this is what the things are, the the information that you get if you open. Okay, so first, mainly if you just try to open, you will get the your system settings. So either it might be a PC or the laptop. So you'll be able to get your system information. So what exactly you're going to be work with this. Okay, so later part, if you want to know whether your device or the hardware has been detected, okay, so here you have option called devices and interfaces. So under this, okay, so if I just try to expand this, okay, it's trying to search whether any other hardwares are being connected. Okay, yeah. Here you can just see I'm having two different DAC, NI MyDAC 1 and NI MyDAC 2. So actually speaking, this NI MyDAC 1, it's the simulated hardware. Okay, so even we can just check, we can work with the DAC with respect to simulated hardware, but not exactly that we are not able to get the exact output if you are simulated, but instead we'll be able to work, we'll be knowing how the things will be able to connect, or the connection wise or the configuration wise. So everything will be known. Okay, that is where you can able to simulate a hardware and you can work if at all you are not having the hardware. Okay, so if at all you are connected actual hardware, so the status will be shown as a present with respect to the serial number, model, and vendor name. So everything will be done. So but if at all it is simulated, so the status will be shown as a simulated, but you cannot be find with respect to serial number of any of the hardware. Okay, so here also we are having some sort of a thing like the self test or test panels. Okay, so the device pinouts, everything will be shown here. Okay, so before getting into the hardware, so I would like to try to explain you with respect to the analog and digital channels, whatever we are having, and how much the channels we are having. So why? Because so before getting into the any sort of a hardware, so first we have to understand what this hardware is and how it works. Okay, so first it's better to always get into a data sheet. Okay, so if at all you have understood the data sheet of that particular hardware, so it's well and good that you can able to work very smoothly with respect to the hardware whatever you are using. Correct. So first we'll be just dealing with respect to analog input. So since I told that you are having two two analog channels of analog inputs. Okay, so that is nothing but two differential. Okay, so here I would like to explain you one more thing called differential ended input and single ended input. Okay, so what do you mean by differential end and single end? Do you have any idea regarding this? Okay, so let me tell you in briefly. A single ended is nothing but inbuiltly you will be having the terminal, the ground terminal will be inbuiltly connected to the hardware ground. Okay, that is what a single ended. But whereas if at all you are dealing with differential end is nothing but, so even though if it is connected inbuiltly, so actually speaking you have to give a proper grounding connection with respect to a differential end. Okay, so if not you're not giving the proper grounding part, so until and unless you are giving, you won't able to get a proper output. The proper result will not be there. So instead you'll be having some sort of the distortion. Okay, so I'll be just showing you how exactly the differential and single ended works. Okay, and what is the importance of giving a proper grounding. Correct. So next, the resolution, I just told you that analog to digital resolution will be around 16 bits, and the sampling rate for this hardware will be 200 kilo samples per second. Okay, so this is what. And if you come for the voltage range, okay, so if you come for the voltage range of analog, okay, so it is actually speaking plus or minus 10 volt with respect to two channels, whatever you use. Okay, and plus or minus 2 volt, it is for actually dealing with audio signals. Why? Because even the audio signals comes under the analog. Okay, so the voltage range for the analog will be very less. That is what minus 2 to plus 2, and here the voltage range for analog will be plus or minus 10 volts. Okay, like you can able to give from minus 10 volt to plus 10. Okay, so similarly, if at all you are going with the analog output part, correct? So in analog output, here also, since I told that you are having two different channels, and here they are clearly specified that it is ground referenced. Okay, that is nothing but the single-ended what I told. Okay, so I'll be just showing you, demonstrating you how exactly this, the single-ended works, or how exactly the differential thing will be working. Okay. And the same resolution of the analog output is the 16-bit. The update rate, the sampling rate for the analog output also the same 200 kilosamples per second. And where it can able to maximum output current, okay, where it can able to generate up to 2 milliamps of currents. And this is, where you have to be very careful that, why? Because you'll be having, some sort of different sensors, or the things where you can able to go beyond 2 milliamps, correct? So we have to know, that's what I said you, that okay, before getting into the hardware or any sort of hardware, not only with respect to this, any sort of a thing, first the main basic thing is we have to understand the data sheet, okay, and the voltage ranges, okay, how exactly that pin works. So if at all you're having some basic idea on this, maybe will be well and good, and the hardware also will be in a very safer side, correct? So the maximum output current that can able to generate is up to 2 milliamps. Okay. So this is with respect to analog. So next, if you come for with respect to digital, okay, so where digital will be having 8 lines that I told, okay, that is starting from DIO 0 to DIO pin number 7. Okay, so there are totally 8 lines. So each and every line can able to be configured either an input or either it might be output. Okay, so even this will be having a logic, the voltage range for this digital will be 5 volt, okay, compatible with TTL. So if at all this is for input, okay, input what you are going to provide up to 5 volt. So but where you can able to get the output up to a 3.3 volt, there will be a pull down resistor that they have been clearly mentioned. So the pull down resistor of 75 kilo ohms. So even though if at all you are giving a 5 volt of an input, so where you can able to ultimately get it as 3.3 as an output. Why? Because it's, uh, not exactly the digital usually will be maximum. It can work with respect to 0 to 3 volt, 0 to 5 volt. Okay. So in digital, it's better to always work with, the 3.3 volt. Okay. So as we all know that LED, correct? So normal physical LED I'm speaking. So that physical LED cannot be sustained of giving, up to 5 volt. Correct. So for that, if at all you want to work with any sort of LED, so usually what will be prefer is LED. So across the LED will be giving the resistor. Either it might be 1K or 1.5K resistor will be given. So why? Because so whatever the current you are getting from the output, either it may be a hardware or anything from the output. Okay, so there is a chances of overflowing. The current will be overflown, and obviously if you directly give the plus 5 volt and ground to your LED, so obviously it will burn, correct? So instead of giving a parallel resistor, okay, here for this MIDAC you can just directly connect no LED without giving any sort of a resistor. So why? Because output whatever you are getting will be from maximum 3.3 volt. So the current as well as the voltage does not damage your LED, physical LED, whatever you are being connected. So instead will be not connecting directly to the voltage. So instead what we'll be doing is we'll be connecting to the DIO. Any one of the channel will be connected to that. So one more terminal will be connected obviously to the ground, so that output whatever it's been getting to the LED will be maximum 3.3 volt. Okay, so even I'll be just showing that demonstration also. Okay, so and here with respect to come for a multimeter. Okay, so in multimeter, what all the things that the functions of the things can able to be measured will be the DC voltage, AC voltage, DC current, AC current, resistance, diode, and continuity. Okay, so almost you are having 7 different type of a thing that you can able to measure. Okay, so only this part can able to be measured, and even you are having a maximum thing, what is the voltage. Okay, so maximum you can able to measure up to 60 voltage of DC current, DC, either it may be, the DC, okay, or AC. Maximum you can able to measure is up to 60 volt. That is the maximum voltage range. And if at all you're going to work with a current, okay, so maybe you can just measure up to 20 vrms. Okay, so this is what I know, the minimum or the maximum specifications that have been given, like 0 to 60 and 0 to 20. Okay, so DC ranges, if you come for DC ranges, what all the things up to 200 millivolts of the voltage, and 2 volt, 20 volt, 60 volt. I think if at all you are using the multimeter, you can able to measure up to 2 volts or a 20 volt. Accordingly, we'll be changing the knob up to 200 volts, correct? So here, not exactly the up to 200 volt. Maybe you can just work up to 60 volt, up to 60 volt of the voltage where you can able to measure. Okay. And with respect to the current, so if you want to measure the DC current, you can measure up to 200 milliamp, 20 milliamps, and up to 200 milliamps. Okay, our maximum will be 1 amp. Up to 1 ampere, you can able to measure the DC current, and even same as a AC also 1 amps can able to be measured. Okay, so this is with respect to the current measurement, voltage measurement. Okay, so where we have to be very well known what exactly will be going to happen if we try to measure. Yeah, so I think this is what the main things that we have to know very well. Okay, so next next thing what here we'll be doing is, here we'll be just trying to connect a MyDAC. Okay, so first after connecting, we'll be just try to work with the test panels. Okay, so for the test panels, as soon as I try to connect the hardware, you'll get a pop-up. Okay, so in this pop-up, either you can just go with the test device. See, I think now I have been just disconnected my DAC. Okay, so you can just see you're having only the simulated DAC, but you don't have any other the DAC that have been already present. Okay, so now I'll just try to connect my DAC. Okay, so once it has been connected, you can just see your model number. Okay, the series number, the status will be showing it as a present. Okay, so first after opening your NiMax, you have to go under devices and interface. So I'll just go with the test panels. So once it is connected, okay, so I'll just try to wire the pins. So I hope a pin description is not available here. I'll just try to show you the pin description. Yeah, so I hope everyone can just see this. Actually speaking, this is a pin configuration of our hardware, okay, NI MyDAC, where what we are going to deal now. Okay, so totally it is having the 20 pins. Okay, the entire hardware consists of 20 pins. So out of 20 pins, let me start from the first. Okay, so since I have told you that it can able to generate a voltage level of plus 15 to minus 15 volt. Okay, so that is what the first pin is of plus 15 volt, and second pin will be of minus 15 volt. Okay, so next, if you go for the next part, okay, they have been given as a AO, the analog output channel. Okay, so here having the two channels, that is AO0 and AO1. Okay, so having two different channels of analog output. So then if the next pin will be for, as mentioned there as a AGND, so that is nothing but analog ground. Okay, so this analog ground will be always used for the negative connections, like what we call then minus connections, correct? So that will be always given to an analog ground. So here also the analog input, the AI, what stands as, here also you are having two channels, that is AI0 plus and AI1 plus. So this 0 minus and 1 minus is nothing but it's an differential end. So since I have told compulsorily it has to be given for a ground, correct? So here what connections will be making will be, I'll be just telling you. So here you are having only two channels of analog input and two channels of analog output. Okay, that 0 minus and 1 minus will not be considered as channel, but instead it considered as the grounded part. So next, if we go for digital, okay, so next part will be digital. So in digital, after that in bracket, they are clearly specifying it is the voltage level will be 0 to 5 volt. The maximum voltage will be up to 5 volt, but the output we are going to extract from the digital is up to 3.3 volt. Okay, so starting from pin number 0 to pin number 7, total it is having 8 pins. Okay, so 8 pins will be either used as an input or as an output, so that I'll be showing you in the configuration part. And next will be the digital ground. Okay, so next the last pin will be of 5 volt. Okay, so at last you're having a 5 volt, it's a fixed power supply, plus 5 volt and plus 15 and minus 15 volt, it's a fixed power supply. And these are the main pin configurations of our NI-MIDAC. Okay, so here to test the device, okay, so in this test panels, okay, so here what I'll be doing is either you can check with respect to analog input and analog output, digital input or counter input. Okay, so in this test panels, let me check with respect to the analog part first. Okay, so to check with the analog part, why the checking of this hardware, the testing of this hardware is doing is, so we have to know whether all the input lines and output lines have been connected fine or not, like all the channels is working good or not. We have to just check. Okay, so for this what I'll do, I'll just take a wire. Okay, like a single strand wire will be, I preferably use a single strand wire, so it's actually accurate and you will be getting a proper results. So what I'll do is, so I'll be just trying to take a wire and connect to AI0 plus. Okay, so actually speaking, AI is meant for acquisition, data acquisition, and AO is meant for generation. Okay, so analog input and analog output. So AI is, I repeat once again, AI is meant for acquisition and AO is meant for generation. Okay, I can easily say that AI will be, the example, I'm just trying to give example. AO is nothing but it's a FZ, the function generator, and AI is nothing but an oscilloscope. So function generator will generate some signal, so and oscilloscope will be acquire the signal back, correct, with using the probes. So similarly here we are not going to use any sort of a probe, so instead we'll be just trying to connect a wires. So I have taken a wire, I have been trying to connect for AI0 plus to AO0, one wire, and AI0 minus is connected to AGND, any one of the AGND. Okay, so I've been taken two wires and connected in this fashion. And here, if you come for the test panels, so here you are having the channel names. So what are the channels? Your hardware name will be there / the hardware name channel. Okay, so right now I'm using the 0th channel, so that's why it is showing AI0. Okay, and the mode here they have been given the 3 different mode: on demand, finite, and continuous. Okay, so these things will be explained when you get into a LabVIEW part. Okay, so as of now, let it be on demand. And here you have been given as input configuration as differential. Why? Because here we have been using a 0 minus to ground, so that's why it is showing it as a differential part. And the maximum and minimum voltage limit is plus 10 to minus 10 volt. Okay, so this is what have been done. And if you go for analog output, the same way But here in analog output, here you're going to generate the values from -10 to +10. So in analog input, here you're going to acquire by simple, the chart or the line will be present here. Okay. So now what I'll do, here I've selected a AO channel. Okay. The maximum limit, output limit will be +10 to -10. Okay. So that's what they have been given the scale of -10 to +10. Why? Because you cannot go beyond this. Okay. It's somewhere like, the fixed form. Okay. So now what I'll do, I'll just click on start here. So you can just see where you'll be able to get some sort of, the unwanted noise. So here what I'll do, so here I've just given the output value of 1. So instead I'll just give it as 5. So means I'm just trying to generate a 5 volt of voltage. When I just click on update here and come back to analog input, can you able to just see the output is flowing with respect to 5 volt. Okay, means from 0 to 5 it's been working, and after that even though if it is keep on working, like you can just see the maximum peak, it is going up to 4.99, okay, which is comes around the 5 volt. So similarly, if I give here as a 10 volt, or we'll just give it as a 10 volt and just try to click on update here. So when you come for analog input, now it is showing from 5 to 10, so it is rising. Means the wire is through the wire medium. Okay, so it is just trying to generate a voltage from 0 to 5 and from 5 to 10. Okay, so you can just see the voltage is they keep on flowing. Again I'll come to analog output. So we have been tested with 2 positive numbers. So now what I'll do, let me give the negative numbers. Okay, so let me give it as -2.5. Okay, so I'll just click update. So if you go for analog input, you can just see it is the same. The voltage is flowing from 10. Again, it is coming back to -2.5. I hope everyone are viewing this, means observing. I can able to observe these things. Okay, so maximum voltage, it is reaching the peak as -2.5. Correct. So similarly, if you try for giving -10, so you can just see again from -2.5, the voltage is going to -10. So here you can just see the amplitude towards the left hand side, -2, -3, -4, up to -10. Okay, so even though if it is not showing the exact one line, but it is showing some sort of the random signal. So but it is going up to -10. Okay, so this is how you can able to check whether the analog is working fine or the digital is working fine. So I'll just try to stop. So once it is stopped, so even though if the value is changed somewhere here and given as update, so it won't be updated here. Why? Because here the code is already stopped. Okay, so here you can just set a value, what is the maximum limit and minimum limit. So if you don't want to give maximum limit as 10 or -10, maybe you can just give it as -5 to +5. Okay, so means within the voltage range you can able to generate things. Okay, so let me give it as a start. Okay, so here if you just try to go beyond the thing and click on update. Okay, so here it is just trying to update around 6.38. Why? Because here the input limit does not matter. So why? Because the output also had been given to -10 to +10. So here also it is trying to read the same. Okay, so maybe like I hope everyone understood what exactly this analog input and analog output does. Okay, so next if you go for digital. Okay, so in this digital you are having one port. Okay, so that port contains 8 pins, correct? So these 8 pins, how you can able to check with the connections. Okay, so here what I'll do is I'll just take a wire. I'm just taking a wire. I'm just trying to connect with DIO 0 to DIO pin number 7. I just given like a loop back connection from DIO 0 to DIO pin number 7. Okay, so here what exactly I'm doing is I'm just trying to check whether the signal is passing from DAO0 to DAO7. Okay, so let me take a magnifier so that you can just see it very accurately. Yeah, so here you're having the selected direction. Okay, direction is nothing but whether you're going to work with the input or output. Okay, so here you're having the LEDs, like starting from 0 to 7 LEDs. So now what I'm doing is, so I'll make a 0 as an input. Okay, so when you make 0 as the input, okay, so here you can just see the switch is the switch has been given. So now what I do, when I make this 0 as high, so your 7th LED will be glowed, means you're writing from 0. Okay, so and you're reading from pin number 7. Okay, so I'll just click on start. You can just see now I'll make a 0 as high, so you can just see the 7th LED is glowing, saying that you are writing from pin number 0 and you are reading from pin number 7. Okay, so now in the same way what I'll do is, so like you're writing from pin number 0 and reading from pin number 7. Okay, means now DAO0 is given as means writing it as an input, and whereas pin number 7 is reading from as an output. Correct. So in the same similar way, I'll just try to change the things like vice versa. I'll just swap things. Now what I'll do, I'll write from pin number 7 and read from pin number 0. You can just see. Now I'm just writing from pin number 7. Okay. So and you're reading it from pin number 0. Means previously what was happening, you're just writing it from pin number 0 and reading from pin number 7. Now means that's what I said, that each and every pin is designed in such a way that it can either write or it can either read. Okay, so maybe if at all you are not understood this here properly, we'll be having a one more option called the instrument launcher. So there I'll be showing you very properly in deep that you can able to understand it very well. Okay, so I hope here few people will not try to understand how exactly this works. Okay, not an issue. I'll just try to show it in an instrument launcher. Okay, so I hope this test panels is understood for all. Okay, I'll just try to close this. Okay, I'll just try to open. Just go to start and type it as NI Elvis MX instrument launcher. So I'll just try to open this. Yeah. So this is actually speaking, it's a soft front panel where all the ready-made code will be available, okay, in a background. So here what this things does is, okay, just you have to open, you have to configure by giving some sort of inputs and outputs you have to run. Okay, that is what the thing that is very much the useful here. Okay, so maybe here I'll just try to explain you with respect to digital part where you'll be understanding very clearly. So here you're having two different options like digital reader and digital writer. So I'll just try to open this. Okay, this is a digital reader and this is a digital writer. So each having a different windows. Okay. Yeah. So I just kept it very closely. Okay. So I'll just take one more wire and I'll just try to connect. So you can able to understand very clearly. So one more wire is connected to pin number 2, DAO pin number 2 to DAO pin number 5. Just it's something like the loop back connection. Okay, so here you just try to clearly observe the things. Okay, in the configuration settings, okay, this all the instrument panels is nothing but it's a panels where you can just try to open, configure the things, and you can run the code. So meanwhile, in a background, the code will be developed. Okay. So that is why it's very useful. In digital write, okay, so you can just see you're having some sort of the patterns like 0 to 3, 4 to 7, and 0 to 7. Okay, so now here, if you want to write, or if you want to read, so you're having some sort of the regular rules and regulation. So if at all you're writing from pin number 0 to 3, okay, so you cannot again read from the same pins, like from 0 to 3. Why? Because here we are making it as a slot from 0 to 3, like 4 pins is for read and 4 pin is for write, or vice versa. Again, the 4 pin can able to be read and 4 pin can able to be write. Okay, like first thing, 0 to 3 is of 4 pins, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, while you are writing in this pin, again you cannot read from the same pin. If at all you are trying to read, it throws an error. Okay, so let me change the device here for MIDAC 2. Okay, what I'll do is, in from 0 to 3, I'm just trying to write. I'll just try to run the code. And from 4 to 7, I'm trying to read. Okay, so here you're having the patterns. Like if you see here, you're having 0 to 7 as all the switches. Okay, the toggle switcher. But if you see here very clearly, from 0 to 3 only, it's this 4 toggle switch has been enabled, whereas 4 to 7 has been disabled. Okay, why? Because you cannot supposed to use that. Why? Because it's been reserved for reading purpose. Okay, so if I make 0 as high here, okay, so you can just see in digital reader, okay, so pin number 7 is being glowing. Why? Because I have been connected a wire from pin number 0 to pin number 7, and one more pin is pin number 2 to pin number 5. So when I make this as high, so that particular LED is going to read. Okay, I hope here you're clearly understanding. Okay, so but same thing, now I can, someone can ask that, sir, from pin number 0 I have to read, and pin number 5 I have to write, like from pin number 7 I have to write. Okay, so if you want to change in such a way that, so change to write from 0 to 7, 4 to 7, and here as 0 to 3. So now if you try to run, you can just look into here very carefully. 0 to 3 is being reserved for reading now, and it is disabled, and 4 to 7 is being enabled. Okay, so now if you just try to make a pin number 7 as high, you can just see here pin number 0 is glowing. Means from pin number 7 you are writing, and pin number 0 you are reading it back. Similarly, if you make it 6 as high, you cannot see any LED is glowing. Why? Because since I have not connected any wire to pin number 6. Okay, so now if you make pin number 5 high, you can see here pin number 2 is glowing. Okay, so same, since accordingly, if I make all the pins as high, you can just see only 2 are glowing. Why? Because I have connected only 2 wires. So remaining 2 have been like, it's not connected, and it's, it is somewhere like a dummy. We are not at all using this. Okay, so this is where you can able to understand very clearly using this digital writer and digital reader. Okay, so let me close this. Okay, so similarly here, using this soft front panel, you can able to go and work with different sort of circuits. Okay, so let me give you one more example of function generator and oscilloscope. Okay, where it will be very much useful, like virtual, if you come for a virtual part. Okay, so this will be very much useful. Yeah, so now towards your left hand side, whatever you are seeing is of function generator, and towards the right hand side where you can see it is of oscilloscope. Right, so this function generator, it can able to generate from a frequency from 200 millihertz to 20 kilohertz. Okay, it's a maximum thing. I don't know what about in the academics, what is the maximum and minimum frequency that they have been given in function generator. And even the amplitude also from 0 to 10 volt peak to peak, and DC offset as the same remains like -5 to +5. Okay, so here also just try to select a device in oscilloscope as function generator. And even the oscilloscope, it is having a 2-channel oscilloscope, like channel 0 and channel 1, where you can able to get 2 different sort of signals. So according to that, you're having, the knobs with respect to volts per division and, the time per division, everything, the things you are having. So now we'll just try to generate a sine wave with 100 hertz frequency and 1 volt peak to peak of amplitude. Okay, so now you can just see previously it was off. When I click on the run button, so it is showing, 100 hertz frequency. So now I want to measure the same 100 hertz in the oscilloscope, where if I click on run here, you can just see the signal is plotting. Okay, and it is giving the RMS value, root mean square, as well as the frequency, maximum frequency what you are giving with respect to peak to peak volt. Okay, so accordingly you can just change here the time per division. So if you want to be seen your signal very compressed size, or if you want to just see it's very broadened thing. Okay, so meanwhile you can just update a frequency here, say that I want 200 hertz to be read. So immediately it's going to be a response. Okay, so say that if you want 500 hertz, a higher frequency, okay, you can just try to change the time per division. Okay, so along with that, if you want to change the amplitude by giving 1 volt, not 1 volt, like 2 volt, so you can just see it immediately giving you a response, and you can able to check. And meanwhile, here in the oscilloscope, they clearly mention the RMS value, frequency value, and the voltage value. Correct. So where it will be very much useful for the students or faculties to trace the result very quickly, and they can able to move with much other the experiments. Okay, so immediately if you want to change with I don't want to go with the sine, if I want to change the signal, so maybe you can just change where this function generator can able to generate three things, like three waveforms. So one is a sine, square, and triangle. Okay, so now whatever you are seeing is of a triangle wave. So next, if you want to go with the square wave, you can just check with the square wave with the frequency whatever have been given. Okay, so and they have been given the colors. Okay, like channel 0 is of a green color. So as of now, I connected only for channel 0. I'm getting it in a green color. Okay, so green color wave. So if at all you are being connected to the one more channel, the first channel, so it will be coming under the blue color. Okay, so as of now I'm not connected. So but if at all you can able to connect, and you can just check both in a different way at all at a time. So based on the frequency and the voltage whatever you are being given, you can change this here accordingly. Okay, so just try to stop. So if you can just see here, if I just try to stop the function generator, so immediately in the oscilloscope whatever the signal you are getting, so it won't be generated. You can just see. I just turned off the function generator, so immediately the oscilloscope has been stopped. Why? Because you're not giving any sort of signal while you are generating. Okay, so but still our oscilloscope is keep on running. So again, if you just try to generate a 500 hertz of any sort of wave, so it is generated. Okay, so any doubts you're having with respect to this function generator oscilloscope, let me know. So maybe you can just move for the next part. Fine. So just try to close this. Okay, so similarly, next, if you want to go with take example of multimeter. So as of now I don't have the probes that I can able to show you, but here you can just see how it can be worked. Okay, if at all you are having probes or the DAC. Okay, so here we can easily connect and we can check. Okay, anyhow we are having the plus 15 and minus 15 of power supply, so we can able to measure the voltage. Okay, so here plus 15 and minus 15, obviously it's a DC voltage where you can able to measure it very properly. Correct. So now you can just see here you're having different sort of mode. Like I have told you can measure with the 7 sort of modes. Correct. So DC voltage, AC voltage, DC current, AC current, resistance, capacitance also capacitance as well as inductance also can be measured. Okay, but main thing will be not come under this picture, but main 7 things will be always with respect to this thing, diode and continuity. Okay, so and here as you have selected, there have been specified range, or if you don't want to keep it as a specified range, you can just give it as auto. But I always prefer the specified range. Why? Because if you keep for auto, think that you've not known maximum voltage will be 80 volt or 85 volt or 90 volt, correct? So if you just directly keep into auto mode and trying to measure, obviously the circuit will burn. Okay, so in order to avoid this thing, so better not to use auto, give a specified range that you want to measure. So anyhow you'll be knowing, so the voltage flow will be of 2 volts or a 3 volts or a 5 volt, correct? So it's always better to go with the specified voltage, and up to 60 volt you can able to measure with the DC voltage. So next, even the AC voltage can measure up to the 20 volt, the maximum voltage. Okay, so and current will be maximum 1 ampere of both AC and DC. Okay, so but voltage
Sir,
wise,
you
yeah,
have another 10 more minutes of time to end this session.
yeah,
And after that, again 2 o'clock, sir. So you have 10 more minutes, sir.
yeah, sure, yeah,
Uh, yeah.
fine, yeah. Yeah, guys. Okay, so I was just telling you, the voltage range for DC will be maximum 60 volt and the AC will be maximum 20 volt. Okay, and current will be both, given as 1 ampere. And even you can just see where the arrow will be showing where you have to connect for voltage to which, the terminal. And for current, if at all you want to measure, it is showing the arrow mark where you can able to connect. Okay, so it's very user friendly. Okay, this hardware will be very user friendly that even either the students will be understood very clearly. Okay, what exactly here these things have been going on, where we have to connect. So all pictorial representation will be available in this sort of the hardware. Okay, so this is the one sort of thing. So next, if you want to check with respect to a Bode analyzer, okay, I hope everyone have been known about like Bode plot, correct? So everyone have been used this Bode plot. Okay, so why we use this Bode plot is in order to give with respect to voltage versus current. So if at all you are having any sort of a circuits with respect to voltage versus current, so okay, so here you can able to generate things. Okay, I'll just click on run. So as of now, I don't have any sort of the circuit connected. Okay, so but since I've been connected only the wire, you can based on the wire, the according to the voltage, whatever the parameters, everything. So you'll be able to get a thing. So I hope these things, the Bode plot has to be used, correct, while you are able to measure the bandwidth, like minus 3 dB, correct, the step response. So if at all you want to measure any sort of things, okay, so usually what the students will be doing, they'll be just passing some sort of input from function generator. So based on that, they'll be keep on updating in their tabular column. Correct. So for this sort of a voltage, what response I'm getting? Okay. So what was the thing? And for this sort of a frequency, and what was the gain I have been given? Okay. So everything can able to be measured. Okay, within a fraction of seconds. But we have to make sure that whatever the circuits we have been connected, so that should be well and good. Means with a proper connection. So everything seems to be good. Okay. So even within a fraction of second, you can able to get a result here. Okay, so and also you're having one very beautiful option that you can able to print your report, or you can able to log your report. So log your report is nothing but where you can able to create the Excel sheet like a tabular column. Okay, so just give the file name here. Okay, so I'll just go for a desktop. I'll just give it as demolog.xls. Okay, why? Because I want to print it in an Excel sheet. Okay, so I've been just given the log. Okay, so now I have been just given. So once if I go for see here, you can just see you're having a demo log. I'll just try to open. Yeah, so Yeah, maybe you can just, I hope everyone can see the things in the Excel sheet. Okay. So whatever the voltage or the current, whatever the gain it has been given. So you can just, see it with respect to a date as well as a time. Okay. So what was the amplitude value with respect to what frequency you are dealing. Okay. So according to that, you are giving, the gain. So gain as well as a phase. Okay, so actually speaking, this is what again. Okay, actually there one small things has to be changed. So since everything has been dumped in a single, the column. Okay, so instead frequency, gain as well as a phase. Okay, so this is how the students can be utilized in such a way that they can able to work very quickly and they can able to grasp the thing in a good manner, so that they can able to understand the things, they can able to plot, they can able to design. Okay, so in laboratory part, okay, maybe if at all we are using this sort of hardwares. Okay, so that will be that seems to be well and good, that the students mentality will be somewhat like different. Okay, so we have to measure if they try to miss any one of the points, think that they have been not collected 1 or 2 points, they have missed some points. Okay, so obviously there will be a chances of giving very wrong answers or very wrong graph, correct? So instead of skipping or instead of doing the things, now it's been everything has been automated, correct? So there is no view that manually that taking of things. Okay, so even though when I was pursuing engineering, okay, even I was taking the values manually and I'm plotting. First I'm taking it into an tabular column. So then I'm verifying it once. Then I'm just trying to drop it into a graph. Okay, so it was taking very long and lengthier procedure. But now if I see, okay, when the same experiment has been given by using this hardware, even I have been given a try. Okay, so using this hardware, maybe you can just plot it very quickly, and I can just graph printout also. Correct. So these, sort of options have been given from the, the national instruments for the students. So in order to, make their projects, or in order to make their laboratorial experiments very quickly to get an accurate answers. Okay. So I think it's about to time up. Okay. So that's well and good. It was, the nice session. So let me know you guys are having any sort of doubts in this. Okay, so let me check if you are having any sort of a questions in the chat box. Okay, I don't think so. I'm having any question. So let me know, guys, if at all you're having any sort of a doubts. Okay, so hardly like 3 minutes is left. So let me know if you're having any doubts. We'll just try to discuss the same, or else we'll just try to wind up. Okay, fine. So I hope people have been understood very well.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you
I
very
think
much.
no queries. Yeah, thank you, sir. Again, the next session will start by 2 o'clock. So I
Yeah,
request everyone to join the next session by 2 o'clock.
yeah, sure,
So
sure.
thank you, sir. You can take the break and join the session by
Yeah,
2.
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you,
Thank,
Ananda.
thank you, sir.